The biggest contradiction in my life at the time was I was still in ROTC. My life would have certainly been different had I finished what I had set out for myself to do in terms of the military piece, okay? But, you know, I came from this family of military men, and I was always kind of enamored by the stories that my father would tell about the war and the Army and all that. I used to love to sit around he and his Army buddies. And my cousins were military. So I just felt it was a thing for me to do, but I was going to do it differently. I was going to be an officer. Okay. So ROTC was the route to do that. And I stayed in ROTC through my junior year. And the way it goes with ROTC is at the end of your sophomore year, you have an option of continuing through your junior and senior year, but it requires you making a commitment to serve in the reserves. And if you make that commitment and you qualify, at that point they began paying you a little stipend. And at that time, it was like $50 a month. But my father loved it, you know. That it's $50 less he'd have to send to me, right? So I'm getting this $50 a month. And by the end of my junior year, 1968, around the time of the Tet Offensive, we were to go to advanced training in Pennsylvania, Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania, largest ROTC base in the entire country. 5,000 cadets were going to show up there that summer for 10 weeks of intense training. So I knew that was, you know, what I had to look forward to. But 2 months prior to that, they gave me a physical here. And, you know, it was a very thorough Army physical. And I remember coming through that physical and, you know, flying colors, no issue whatsoever. So I was qualified to go to Indiantown Gap. But because this training was going to be so intense, the Army required a second physical once you got there. So I went through the physical and got to the cardiac station and was being examined. And the doc, you know, put the stethoscope to my chest, and he looked at me and he said, how long have you had this murmur? I said, I don't have a murmur. He said, you do now. So I was just totally confused. And he called a couple other docs over who checked me out, confirmed that I had a heart murmur. And he told me, he pulled me out of the line and told me that in a day they would send me down to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and I would be examined again and I could be processed out because they could not take the risk of me continuing given the intensity of the training. So I was just shaken. Could this be the end of my military career? So I go down to this hospital in Valley Forge, and we get there about 5 a.m. It's a big old hospital, looks like something out of, remember the hospital in Born on the 4th of July, the Tom Cruise movie? It was like that. Okay, this was an intake hospital for Vietnam casualties. Oh. So I walk into the hospital in my little green uniform, and there are these guys in gurneys and in wheelchairs and stretchers lining this hallway, and it's a long hallway. And, you know, it's an old hospital, it's dark, so my eyes are coming into focus. I'm walking into this place, and I'm hearing all this chatter. And it's not until my eyes adjust I realize these are casualties. These guys had just come back from the war. And they began to like say things to me like, you better get out of that uniform while you can, boy. You know, this ain't no game. All this kind of stuff. And I'm just baffled. What is this about? So finally, I had this this examination with this major, this doctor, who is processing me out, and he sees a disappointment. I mean, I'm devastated. Like, this is it. They're gonna send me home. So this guy tells me, look, he said, I'm a physician. He said, I studied for 4 years beyond college to be a physician. He said, but all I've done in the 4 years that I've been out of medical school is fix up broken bodies of young guys like you, who ought to be somewhere drinking beer with your girlfriend, you know, kicking it, having a good time, and they're out here. You know, he said it almost with some hostility, like, you're getting a break. You know, he told me, you're being spared, you know. So, you know, go through your disappointment, but, you know, get yourself together and go on with your life. Because you don't want to do this. It's not for you. And I tell you, Baye, the whole reality of the war really had not hit me until I had that experience walking through that hospital. I mean, the war to me was like something abstract. Right. It was just something you do as a military guy. But for the first time, I had to confront it, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I was processed out, and, you know, I think about it now, because some of the guys who went on got commissioned, you know, I mean, on that wall in D.C. So, you know, in a lot of ways, it was just one of these, you know, what they say, fools and babies, God protects fools and babies. Well, this was a fool who got protected, because I would not have done it. I would not consciously have left the military. Had it been possible for me to be commissioned, I would have been commissioned. And I would have been ill prepared to do what was in store for me.